so then I got a call from a toy company, and it's a Canadian company, but they do all their business out of Hong Kong. And the guy said, I'll bet you're making these by the thousands. Would you like to sell them by the millions? And I thought, and I thought about that because I knew it would be a lot less money. I'm not going to be making $10 on each glider anymore. But I thought, that would be, I think that would be nice. And so they're like, all right, let's do it. And it turned out to be a real sort of high energy toy company called Wowee. Just a lot of very dynamic guys who know how to get stuff done really quick. And they were owned by Hasbro at the time, so they had a big toy company behind them. And so the next thing I know, they fly me over to Hong Kong, and I'm bringing some of my gliders, and we meet with manufacturers and start showing them how to make the glider so it's actually going to do what I think it's supposed to. And they want to and then they're figuring out how to advertise and stuff.
How long were you in Hong Kong?
It was just a couple days, but a few different times. So I went to so I'd go to I went over to Hong Kong once to sort of show them how to make everything, and then I think went over to Hong Kong once they had their whole sort of had the finished product to make sure that they were really getting it, that it was actually being done right, because since it's a flying toy, it's not like just a figurine that's the right shape. It really has to function well, and that was really nice. Because then I didn't have to make them anymore. I kept my website up until I ended up sort of so confused through this whole thing. I failed to renew my website at some point. It actually got so somebody somebody who just snaps up websites that get a lot of clicks took my website, and I actually was happy about that. I was like, oh, all right, I'm out of business. I do not sell these things anymore. I don't have to respond to anything, and I really was kind of tired of it at that point.
Can I ask you, how much did you sell? If you don't want to, but can I ask, how much did you sell it for? The information,
for the toy company. Well, that was another thing. So now I'm dealing with a toy company. I don't know about dealing with the toy company, and I find out that the deal is royalties. So you get a percentage of their sales to a toy store, and I had this is one other important thing. I think one reason that this toy company contacted me was because there was a guy who had started a sort of robotics expert who had recently started working with them, and I had some interest in robotics that I found. He was working at Los Alamos, but this was before going into business with the gliders. I just had some robotics ideas, and he seemed to be the only person who was thinking along similar lines. I had actually built some things and driven out to Los Alamos, from Los Angeles to New Mexico, and just to meet with him and talk about some of this stuff. And then he winds up at this toy company. I wind up making a toy, and so I wind up at the toy company as well because of this connection, which I've always thought is another very important thing. It's important to actually know people, not necessarily know power people, but just to know people who can connect you with other opportunities, with other businesses. You need, it really helps to have you want to do something, you want to know about something, there's somebody you can call, or there's somebody who calls you, like in this case. So anyway, I went and we made these, and sure enough, I think they probably did sell about 1 million or something. I didn't know anything about how to negotiate a contract with them, so I just said, I want whatever contract this other guy has. That's what I want. That percentage.
And did that work?
And so and they were like, okay, and now I'm trying to figure out how to sign a contract with the toy company, who at first I don't trust these guys, and but I knew somebody who can read contracts, and he was kind enough to review it and just had some suggestions, and so again I was getting a lot of help from other people. The toy ended up getting produced pretty well, went on the market, and then at some point went off the market for no reason whatsoever. I could never figure out. I found dealing with the toy business that if I ask 2 people, I get 2 answers, and so I eventually just gave up asking why anything happens. But another one of these sort of taking an opportunity. The company, they liked selling these gliders, but the gliders were selling sort of in the $10 to $20 range. What they really like is to sell a $50 product. So they said, well, can you make a radio controlled version? And this was before lithium batteries. It was still hard to make a toy, real toy grade radio controlled airplane. But I put together something for them. Ended up, and they got the thing working, and did some great marketing behind it. And I ended up, in one more year, making more money from that than I had made from the first toy, and was actually able to, put the big down payment on my house, because I was, I was always willing to go to that next step, keep going with the opportunities. But eventually there would even have been an opportunity to start spending more time in Hong Kong. I eventually decided, personally, I didn't like Hong Kong. I didn't like the toy business. It's kind of tense. But it was interesting. Got to go to the toy fair in New York. Got to see they were selling my gliders in Macy's for a little while. I thought, oh, that's